Hey, what's up everybody? Thanks for checking out another video. I want to talk to y'all today about something really cool that happens this time of year in a local fishery of mine, and I'm sure it happens in other places too. Kind of a few different things going on with this process, so I want to kind of explain what it is. So it is the fall transition and the thermocline in the body of water or in your body of water, and how that kind of relates to what the fish are doing. So the fishery that I'm going to use as an example is a large oxbow of the Mississippi here in Louisiana where I'm at, and it is a really heavily stained water fishery. For the most part, visibility in the entire lake. It's about 10-mile long oxbow. Visibility less than 2 feet for the most part. The ends are much dirtier than that. The middle without any inflow is a little cleaner. So what happens during the summer, the thermocline forms very shallow on this body of water. Now it's not an active oxbow, which means the Mississippi doesn't flow in and out of it. It's been cut off. So basically resembles a natural lake. There's some water inflow, but there's not a lot of water movement. So that thermocline does form, and typically in May. Is when it really gets hot enough to stratify, or if you're not sure what a thermocline is, it's really simple. Cooler water is more dense and stays in the deeper part of the lake, and further in the water column, and warm surface water floats on top of that, so it stratifies or separates. Now, what does any of this have to do with bass fishing, right? Now, typically, the dirtier a body of water is, the less light penetration, the more shallow that thermocline forms. Ozark lakes, the thermocline can be down in 20, 30 feet of water. For us, the thermocline forms typically around 5 feet, 5 or 6 feet. So anything below that is going to be the cooler water. Above that is going to be the warmer, and that lasts all through the summer. So what happens as that colder water, the longer it remains there, just through natural processes, the oxygen in that level is depleted. Now, early in the year, May and June, there's plenty of life below that thermocline. There's bait fish, there's bass, there's the biomass can go as deep as they want at that time. Now, as that oxygen is depleted throughout the summer, more and more life pushes further up in the water column. So what this means this time of year, usually by the last week of August, anything below that 5-6 foot zone is really uninhabited by predators, particularly bass. And the most important thing that causes all of this is their forage base. Shad need a lot of oxygen. They need good water quality. They're going to move higher in the water column. So basically what we get the last week of August is a big push of fish that are following that bait into the higher levels of the water column, and in a really accessible spot to target. So basically these shallow areas that have been kind of hit and miss throughout the summer, it's not really a dead zone, but it's not what you would call the main deal. As far as tournaments go, from May through July, the offshore deeper brush and that really in that 8 to 15 foot zone, 6 to 15 foot is your highest probability for catching a big bag of fish, right? You still catch some up shallow, but it's not good. Well, that last week of August, shallow gets good. I mean, you can really catch them in areas that you've not been able to catch them all summer, and it's because of the bait, and it's because of the bass following the bait. It really is that simple. It's so cool, and I've seen it year after year after year because this is my local lake. Last week of August, almost like clockwork, all the way through September, these zones just, boom, they just come to life, which is really weird because, it's kind of our hottest time of the year. I mean, the highs are still in the 90s, but that transition, and I'm sure, I've talked about this even on my channel, in the fall is much less dictated by the weather patterns than it is length of day. And of course, what pushes fish around on different bodies of water changes, but the driving force behind that big shallow push is the lack of oxygen or anoxic water below that 5 and 6 foot zone. Now, the reason that thermocline does form so shallow on this body of water is it is heavier stain, right? The more sediment you have in the water, the more color, the more stain, the shallower that thermocline is going to be. There's another lake, not even, I don't know, maybe an hour to the north, much clearer water, and the thermocline will form, like I said, 25, 30 feet. It's a much deeper lake too. So anyway, one thing, I guess the overarching thing is, kind of understand the science of your body of water and what could make certain things happen and why things happen the way they do. And I just thought that was a really cool example, of a local fishery that really, it doesn't set up like a lot of the other lakes around it, so it's kind of a unique thing. But hey, it's a great opportunity to go out and catch some fish. And real quick, one of the lures that I use, I mean, all of your shallow shad imitator is going to work, but this is something I've really been enjoying throwing the last couple of years. This is a small Bassman spinnerbait. Really cool little deal. It's got a fantastic hook. I'm blanking on the exact name of it. I know it's by Bassman. But hey, this is a good time of year to fish a spinnerbait. Still super hot, but they are extremely keen on shad. And this is a great tool to pick off those shallow fish. Hey, I hope y'all are getting out on the water. Hope you're liking the content. Like and subscribe if you do. And stay tuned for more.